Diablo Graves here. Like I said, I wanted to go back and do one last sort of bonus stream to clean up the last couple of gold files that we didn't pick up from playing it earlier. So I figured I'd go ahead and just knock that out tonight. I'm pretty sure it's just the infirmary and the director's office, so this might actually be a fairly short stream. And I guess it really doesn't matter what we're doing right now, because we're not actually gonna... So, wait a minute. Huh. Guess there's something else? Let me go knock this out. We'll come back to that. So it's this one. So everything else I think is maxed out. Yeah. 11, 15, 13, 15, 13, 11, 12, 10. And then these ones at the bottom here. These. So 8 of 8. The security room. This one is the one where we're missing stuff. Then this is the other one. We've got, this was like the last one. So let's start with the infirmary. Okay, if I remember this one correctly, okay, we get the coin. Let's see if I can just find all the stuff we need. I'm not sure I figured out what to do with this. AED. No, not adult erotic doctor. If your heart stopped. I don't think that ever really came into play. Weird. That will come on once we get the right information. Yeah, we don't actually open these doors. It's a scalpel. Yeah. Yeah, be careful with this. It is, it's an injection gun. It's got some saline solution. Okay, so we don't actually use the injection gun. Okay, so... combine... Is it this that we combine it with? No, something else. Just trying to speed through a lot of the stuff here. There's this thing. I gotta... Yeah, there's 3 empty spots. I think we need the 2 keys. Yeah. So we get that. There's the sink. We need this piece of cloth. Cut this out. This is what we combine with to make the key. Okay, so we have the 2 keys. Nothing else on these beds. Jokes. White powder. Yeah, I think we need this as well. We put the 2 keys in. Remember, we slide this part out. This gets you the I forget how I did this now. I think I screwed it up. There we go. Okay, so that fills that out. And then we figure out, I think we have to figure out how many of these there are. So, blue, yellow, and red. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2. Right, that got us the... That got us this. Which... Put this in here. Get the empty jar, right? So then we fill the jar up with water. Get some water going, put the water in the basin, use it to wash off the cloth. Use that to wash off the cloth. This gives us the fabric that lets us put it over here. Then we scan it with the scanner. Oh, right. I turn this on. It's not a trap. Everybody just push it. Somebody push it, please. Okay, we turn this on, run the scanner over it. I remember this was set up this way before. And that's how you get the green one. So that's how we got the green, yeah, because we got that colorful note at somewhere. I forget where we picked this up, but essentially tells you, okay, blue, red, yellow. That's for a different puzzle. Oh yeah, and this is also letting you know what the, yeah, so those were all the hints. So then I was like, okay, now how do I get the other one? Right. Yeah, we need a memory card to go in here. I think we eventually get one somewhere, but... Yeah, blank notebook. There's something that tells us more information. Oh yeah, down here. Here's where the safe is. And then it's a clipboard, the memory card. And a scrap of paper. That was the scrap of paper that had 312. And then this memory card goes in here. And that was what tells us what A and B are. So it still doesn't tell us anything about where we get the other one from. I think it has to do with this because this is still letting us put stuff in, but I don't know what to put here. The only thing I can think of is maybe sort that node. That's old. Maybe blue 1, red 2, yellow 3. No. Did that right? Yeah. Blue 1, red 2, yellow 3. We saw that one already. Yeah, I know. But the fact that it's letting us do something else here seems like there's something else going on here. And the fact that it'll still let us scan this thing, or even still let us pick it up. Anything lets you put something there. I'm just checking, alright? Yeah, it is weird that it lets you scan it even when there's nothing there. But I don't know what else you could use this with. I mean, there's also this thing, which is the same size, a 5x5 grid. Do the icons match up? Is there a blue one there? Yeah. There is a blue one there. But there's not a red one here. Is there anything else I can do with this? Can I take the keys out? Three marks and 2 numbers on it. There's a yellow one there, so this one is the one that's like wrong, apparently. Because that one should be a red one. If it was like this setup. Although it isn't, so maybe that's not the right thing. Maybe this doesn't have anything to do with it. And there's also these things. A bunch of jars of medicine, but I can't tell if they're the right colors or not. And also there's more than 10 of them, so I don't think that's it. I feel like the fact that I can pull this off and use it, even though it's not like I'm done with that part of the puzzle. Like I feel like it should match up to this somehow, but I don't. Square of fabric I've cleaned with braids. There are 3 marks and 2 numbers on it. So maybe I have to... what's here and here? A red and a yellow. The red should be here. What does that mean? It is weird that none of them are the green ones. So there's blue, red, yellow, and this is red and a yellow, but this is blue, blue, yellow. I mean, I maybe could try... I could try some combination of 1 or 2 for the numbers over here. Where, like... Well, if this was... If this was like this... So if we're going by this one, then it's blue, red, yellow, and then the other two are red and yellow. So it would be 2 red, 2 yellow, 1 blue. If we go with the ones on the actual grid, it's 2 blue, 2 yellow, and 1 red. I guess I could try it. It's either 2 blue or 2 red, depending on whether it's supposed to be the ones on here or the ones in the actual grid. So I could try that. I'm almost starting to just try random combinations of numbers at this point. So there's 2 like this. Oh, okay, apparently it was that one. So it was the left drawer open. There's something in there. We got another one. Okay, well, what does this one match up to? So that was, there was 2 blues, so it was actually the ones on the thing. So 2 blues, 1 red, 2 yellows. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So green, that's a green one. So maybe that doesn't. Can I do anything else with this, or is this done? Yeah, okay. So no more reason to mess with this. So I probably just have to put this back in the. Yeah, this guy, and then run the scanner. Oh, there we go. Alright. Screen, you figured it out. Screen's showing something again. So now it's the blue one. Okay, so moon, sun, star. Trying to find out. Done, good work. Right, and... Oh, right, we actually have to... moon, sun, moon. Okay, so we've seen this already. Get the map for floor A, the keys. For the sun keys, the notice about doors, and the key to get out. Oh yeah, and the Radical 6 paper. Okay, that gets us this. Now, put this in the door. Okay, so that gives us 14 to 14, so now we can save that. Let's save another slot. Now we can jump down to... where is it? This guy. For this one, I think we just need the brandy, the tablet. I remember these were supposed to be arranged. I think 3 and 4. Maybe these are supposed to go here. I think that's correct. Go ahead and arrange this stuff so that it's in place. So I think I may or may not need it. I forget which things I actually need for this one. This goes basically there. And then this other one goes here. Make parallelogram. Starting up. Oh, I have to wait. So that's not... I have to do the other stuff first. Let's see. Am I going to have to solve all the puzzles in this one? I think so. Okay, I think we get this one. We already have the map, yeah. So these two, these two, these two. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, laugh it up. Gets the deer head. Piece of paper we already had. Deer head up here. Yeah. There we go. What else? What else? There's this thing that goes in here. This gets us the key for the facial recognition device. There's also this puzzle. Which Bob, Chris, John, Tony might be in. So it was Ellen and I think Lola was here. Yeah. I don't know if we actually need to solve this one, because this just tells you, yeah, book 334. And then this doesn't work. I just want to make sure that it counts that I've done everything in this room. Now, do I still need to do anything with this? Wait, I don't think you need the books around anymore. Yeah, so that's right. Okay, cool. Facial recognition software. Plug the key in, starts this up, doesn't recognize any of our faces. Piece of paper. This is where we start to figure out who Tenmyoji is. That's right, we have to do this because we have to be able to get the battery for the... anyways. I guess interestingly, if you don't actually click on the picture again, you might not find all that information out. But we've already seen that, so I mean, you know, if you want to... For some reason you jump to the last video in this series and you haven't, you know, watched the rest of them, you know, hey, spoilers for some weird parts of this series. Bullseye, yeah. Do all this, fire the key, pop the balloon. Did nothing. Pull the handle. There's a P. Handle, go back. Okay, combine with this. Enter in help. That gets us the green password. Let's see if this is started up yet. Still starting up. Okay, so I think I actually have to... Does globe do anything? Oh, right. This was where you get the map that has the points on it. Alright. Punch in the password for this. Director's office. Yeah. So, moon, star, star. Get all this information, the keys, and the other key. What? I look at this stuff in the safe and I don't think Quark's gonna let me. Might as well go with it. I'm like, what? Hey, Mr. Sigma. Oh, if you don't click on the picture, it'll force you to look at it. What's he whispering out? Stuff important. You're curious about what? Grandpa's picture, the one in front of the face. Don't you want to take a look at it? I want to look at the stuff in the safe, but I think Quark's gonna let me. Alright. So the game won't let you not find out that information, which is good, because that would have been a really important thing to miss. So, yeah, it's a picture of Akane. Tenmyoji gets all shaken up about it. Carry that picture everywhere. I don't think I've ever seen you leave it somewhere. Like, I really feel bad for him, considering what all ended up happening to him after the first game. Anyways. Still starting... Okay, so I actually can't use that until... Oh, and I actually have to put this in again. That's kind of annoying. Moon, star, star. Okay, now we can take this information. The star keys and the key to get out. But before we do that... Oh. When does this start up? Is there something else I had to do to get this to start up? What am I missing? This room's a safe, now we can open it. Oh, maybe we had to view that. Because I actually entered the password without knowing it. Yeah, okay, now I can do this. Okay. Now this thing, which I am not good at. So my initial thought was to do this. I don't think this works, because this has to go here. Oh no, it might. Hold on. This thing is kind of fiddly. So if that goes in there. I mean, technically this does make a parallelogram, but it's not using all of these, and I don't think there's any way to add these two to make a longer one. So the main problem is this guy. No matter how you rotate it. Here, let's try this. Yeah, like it's too long if you do it this way. If you do it, so it would have to be this way. Yeah, no, now I've messed this one up. There's got to be an easier way to rotate this. The thing is, if you put it this way, then move. Pick up and move. Slide. Then you don't have enough room. And if you try to put something else in there, try to do this. Well, hold on, maybe this might... No. See, this almost works, but then this piece isn't correct. And I don't think there's any other way to fit this. Because this one won't fit this way. So it has to go flat, but anywhere you put it, then this one has to be next to it. Which means you can fit these two in here, but then you can't fit this one in anywhere. So I don't think this is it. So it can't be... So the big ones can't be arranged like this. So how else could they be arranged to make a parallelogram? You could do it like this. And then the other way. Why are these things so fiddly? You could do it like this. And then if these guys were lined up, then can you make a square in the middle? Actually, I think these have to be flipped, because I think the parallelogram is actually supposed to be this way. Nope. Ah. There we go. So you can maybe do it like this. Now the question is, can you fit these guys into like a square on the inside. That's too small, I think. How would this go? Okay, this would have to go... These have to go in the corners. Here, but I think that's too big. I think that leaves too little space. Because you can put this part here. Rotate this. Do it this way. Then it almost works, but then you don't have room to fit, because these are not going to go in here. They're too big. They're actually twice too big. Is there any other way these could go? So we did like that. I guess the other way is you could... If you don't want to put them on the sides, you could put them... If we can line this up right. This is just not gonna go. Could do this. Oh my gosh. There we go. Now maybe, let's see, what can I put there? This around. Maybe. I don't know if these will fit. This looks like it almost might work. Hold on. This is like just slightly too big. Is there another way I could do this? This seems like it could almost work. With this guy here. No, that's still a little too small. Like it'd have to be here. Yeah, I don't think this is it. Like it's like slightly too big. Unless, well, wait a minute. What if I can fit this in here? Ooh, wait. What if I do this? Now, if I Is there a way to flip this around? Maybe like this. This almost seems like it should work. Ugh. Cause like, yeah, if this is like this. This guy is like the one that causes the most problems, it seems like. I have to figure out what to do with him. It's like there's a number of things I could try. No, not you. Because, like, then you could go in there. No, don't go that far. Can you... will that line up? See, that'll line up, and that'll actually go in there. I don't know what that gets you, though. So you need like one more to go like in here. God, I hate these things. My brain hurt. Alright. Yeah, because this would almost work if it would go the other way, but it doesn't. Also isn't the right size, though. Right. Turn it around. How else can I make this? I think now I'm starting to turn it back into the square that it originally was. Oh, man. Because this part seems kind of right. What if I turn this? This here. No, that's a little too tall. So put this one here. this way. Put this guy here. Come on, pick up. That almost fits. Wait a minute. Hold on. If I get this guy here... and then, not that way, this way. This, like, almost works. I wonder if this might be close enough. Because these don't quite line up right, but... that looks really close. I wonder if they'll accept it. Oh god. You know what? It seemed a little off, but I'll take it. I guess the key was figuring out that I had to rotate the square piece. Ugh. Well done, Sigma. That was pretty impressive. Thank you. What do we get? Look, there's something on the screen. Ill? Something we put in here? Okay, yeah. It's awesome, the screen changed. Moon, moon, star. Got an achievement for it's like presumably all the gold files. So I think that should do it. Get out of here.
Nah, that's fine.
Okay, so 1111. I think that's all of them. Save this. And yeah, there's a few presumably bad endings. What's this though? I don't remember this before. Infirmary.
Where?
I see you've finally woken up, Kyle.
Kyle? Oh, Kay, yeah.
Kyle.
Ah, yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
Okay, so this is the one where Kane replaced Kyle. I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran around to the other side of the partition. The mirror over the sink was covered with a film of dirt. I wiped it off with my sleeve, and my reflection stared back at me. There was no mistake. The reflection belonged to...
Kyle Climb. So, I'm Dr. Climb? Zero Senior's clone?
What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
An excellent question, one I didn't quite know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Climb was. In another history, he had been called K and had worn a suit of armor, right? He hadn't just worn the armor in that history, though. He apparently had worn it all his life. Kyle had been born and raised in this lunar installation, which seemed to be called Rhizome 9. Rather late in his life, Akane had appeared as a mother figure, and he had consequently grown very attached to her. I knew everything about him, but even though I knew it, I didn't feel it. Was I really Kyle Climb? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Climb in his younger days. I looked down. There was Dio, still handcuffed. Wow. I turned back around to Luna.
What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
Today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden. And she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral. It just takes a while to have an effect.
Right, because they've got the replicator, and I believe at least one copy of the antivirus still in one of the saves.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes,
Why am I here?
the doctor carried you back here.
Right, because he didn't actually get stabbed.
You were in the pod in the garden.
So the person you call the Doctor is Sigma Climb, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes, I've been administering Soparil whenever he gets restless.
Ooh.
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
Okay, so we kind of learn a little bit what happens to them afterwards.
Right! Mr. Klein!
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one.
Mm-hmm.
We were just about to get dressed and head out.
You plan to return them? To Earth, I mean.
Yeah.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Klein now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you? You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out.
Yeah, this is presumably, you know, that split in, let me see if I can find it. This one? Yeah. So this is presumably, because we got done with this, and then he goes back to B, the 45 years, and then goes back around, and this is presumably going to be the third game, but that splitting point at E, where he doesn't fix things, so then this is kind of still the failed timeline, essentially.
About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened. Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not gonna change. In fact, it's because of what he did, or didn't do in the past, that we've got this past and present.
Yeah, so basically, because of parallel worlds, there's going to be, you know, all of those basically other timelines that we just played through.
Let me give you an example.
He's probably about to explain this, but I was going to say that, like, all of these that, like, ended badly presumably still end up being timelines. We just don't see what happens in the rest of them. So then this one keeps going, even though presumably this is the one where he fails to stop the events.
Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. "Let's go northwest," he says. So they take the northwestern road. But about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers. 90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy.
But what happens to the 10?
And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
Right. Okay, 9 people then.
Because, of course, the theme is 9 for everything in this game.
What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories. Friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that?
Well, you even wouldn't, because, I mean, it's parallel worlds. That world still exists.
The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting, even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness, even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can Look, I'm just not going to accept that, all right? You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet.
Is he right?
No, it's not going to happen. We're here right now. This is reality. Even if Sigma does change the past, we're not just going to disappear or something.
Oh! Then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Thanks, kid.
I understand how you feel. Why you want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Have you already said goodbye to the others?
Vi, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. We told them we'd see him again someday, and then came here.
So I guess Phi also came back.
They were the only people you want to say goodbye to?
Well, no point saying anything to Dio.
Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too.
Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you.
You have a point. Akane was in the armor in this timeline, after all. What about Sigma?
Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore.
Of course. He is Dr. Klein now that his consciousness has returned.
Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know?
And Akane?
Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew. She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years. Hell, she might not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere.
Oh man.
In the end, Clover and I were just pawns. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we're completely resentful. We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand. But
Kinda sucks, though.
Kind of got ripped away from your lives.
I mean, Sigma and Phi have it easy. They get to go back to December 25th in 2028. They'll stop the Radical Six and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen.
but we don't.
Yeah.
We're stuck with Point C as our starting point.
You told us about Ten Myoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest.
Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, S's consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection.
If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers would be sealed.
But
But it still sucks.
It's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died.
Were we just supposed to go live on Earth? It's a wasteland now. And what about our friends and families? We
Oh.
left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
Yeah.
Even if it is for the greater good,
It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
yeah, it's a little bit much.
So we went and talked to the old lady.
She told us that there is one way.
One way we could get back to the past.
Let's say you do go back to the past. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right.
But this is different.
Different. How so?
From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time, too.
It's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have two Clovers and two Alices at the same time?
But that wouldn't happen.
Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
Schrodinger's?
Cat.
Oh, hey, Kyle. Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Klein? Luna said you were with him.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now.
Probably don't have a... Well, no, they do have a thing for him because they used it in the hologram.
There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Sure.
So we won't talk to him, we'll talk to the hologram.
There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately, my circumstances make that an impossibility. I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Phi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is.
What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
Oh, right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or a Merman or a Wolfman. I'm not a Brahmin or Common or Ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you really don't need to worry about anything.
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. Although by then you were in cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then on January 25th, 2074, you were finally thawed out, even though you didn't wake up. Still unconscious, you were carried to the AV room. That was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out, and sending you back to December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility. Fortunately, your plan failed. The Radical Six did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from point E, you headed straight to point D. Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods.
Oh, okay. So yeah, she did it then, not during the other trip.
Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future.
Okay.
It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. This caused the two versions of you to swap places, and you moved 45 years into the future, where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you, only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back into the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about you got right.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor. It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus v1 times v2 over c squared is the actual equation. Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus v1 times v2 divided by c squared is usually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1.
Right, so when we're adding velocities, you have to actually weigh it against, physics equations.
Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use v1 plus v2. You see what I'm saying? In most situations it works, even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about right. As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I don't quite understand. In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So is that what you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical 6 in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with the simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but I can't tell you that.
Gotta play the third game to find that one out.
Why?
Because it would change history. There is a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation, and Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear. You understand?
I don't. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
Then where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about.
That's true.
You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this? You know my past. Sigma's past.
Yeah, we did kind of just skip past that.
I shall give you your answer. You are not Kyle Climb. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Think about it. Do you really believe you're Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then, where is the real Kyle's consciousness?
He was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking, he has arrived at December 25th, 2028. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the doctor loves Kyle. He raised him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Climb's spare, but that was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028. Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
And that is why he created him?
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the Doctor has achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
Correct.
There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me? You telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system.
Is she talking to, like, me?
As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
I have no idea what...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Phi and Sigma, even with all of his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world.
There's no way I...
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028?
Yes, I do.
Well, yes, I do, but...
Then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be. If observation can change the motion of a particle, then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine. Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history. Only you can save the world.
Okay, that was pretty funny. They're essentially like, hey, you, the guy... They didn't actually... okay, alternative end. You found it a certain point of view. Okay. They didn't come out and say, "Hey, you, the guy pushing the buttons," but I feel like that's essentially what that's supposed to mean. Well, we're right at 38 hours, so I think that's it. Yeah. So another time, and I'm not gonna go back and do the like random last few bad endings. I mean, obviously those are not gonna give us anything. We've gotten all the story out, so I think that's gonna do it. So for reals, this time, hope y'all have enjoyed this last little bit. And as well as everything else. Like I said, I'm going to start in on Zero Time Dilemma, not tonight obviously. Maybe tomorrow, we'll see how work goes. But if not, at the very least, this weekend, at the latest. So... yeah, that's going to do it. So it's been a blast. Hope you all have enjoyed this. And we'll see you next time, so take care and have a good evening.